lived in this neighborhood for 25 years and was a part of that flood back in '98. And I still remember my family being evacuated over to San Marcos High School and sleeping on cardboard boxes. And living at the time at Comanche Hill Apartments and eagerly trying to get a ride from a National Guard armory to just take me so I can find my parents. I couldn't find them.
Offer up security agreements, because many people have stated what you'll end up with there is basically a debauchery pit.
We flood the neighborhood.
Flash flooding.
Flooding and causing a catastrophe in that neighborhood.
100-foot water quality zone as required by code. Here 50 years ago remembers it very clearly.
I believe it would be negligent to place any kind of barrier between exit of the floodwaters.
The way in which our neighborhood floods. It's going to cost either a lot of money to restore it. Who's going to pick up that tab? What our children's grandchildren are going to remember.
So on the one hand, they're giving something what really they can't use to build on because it's floodway, water quality zone, and then taking something away that we already have. We've already got Stokes Park.
We can think of about 6 of those 100-year floods that we've had in this area. It's a scary situation.
I changed my mind about rezone my 2-acre land now, because what I saw, the disaster happened, because what we don't respect the nature.
We have to be concerned about the dangers to the adjacent neighborhood. We live in a special place called Flash Flood Alley, where our 24-hour rainfall totals are like that of Bangladesh, up in the world-class category.
It's on the 100-year floodplain.
Think about the future if you continue to build high-density developments in floodplains.
Would allow for connectivity of the city's pedestrian trail.
Connect access points. We cannot increase flooding problems legally, and we're happy to discuss exactly how that will not occur, but it ignores both the facts and the law.
Tie in to Stokes Park.
See the royal blue right here, this swath, all the way from the Blanco River to the San Marcos River, is the 100-year floodplain. Because it floods.
Flooding, I've been through the three floods between 1998 and 2003.
And all from an experienced developer. The LIDs, the low-impact developments, are on the wrong side of the development, but on the interior, not on the exterior. And as alluvial processes happen, that goes downhill, it needs to be in between the development and the river.
The science that Diane Watson presented
It's been prone to flooding.
San Marcos is going to be a World Heritage class city someday. Not long. The heritage of families that have loved this land for generations, 100 years. Why did you keep it for 100 years? Why didn't you build apartments?
I look at this map, asphalt apartment complexes, 20 acres of it on the riverbank. I'm sorry. I don't think that's what we want for our town. That does have hydrocarbons, and yes, it will pollute. I don't care what BMPs you have in place. When we have floods, that's going into the San Marcos River.
What worries me is that some of that's going to run off from this property into the river and kill the species that are in the river.
He was saying that this is a jewel with the project there, and I feel that if the project is there, it would devalue the jewel into a cubic zirconia.
We had this long conversation about grabbing babies out of houses, and we were worried about flooding.
And I live in the Dunbar neighborhood, and y'all know how Dunbar has flooded. I was in there when 2 of the babies drowned there.
Like I said, you've also, I've got on the other video, it shows Highway 80 and 21 underwater.
Been through several floods. We've almost swam, we've pulled people out, we've taken the dump truck and gone down and hauled people out. They were trying to drown, all that sort of thing. We've been through it. And we know what water does on that other side of the river, other side of the Interstate 35. The Blanco comes up, comes down Highway 80 from the bridge, comes right straight on down, blocks off anybody trying to get out of there. There's no way to get out.
I think everyone in the neighborhood agrees you're basically building a 3-story tall levee. Approval of something like this, I believe, would be negligence on the part of the city.
Caves Camp acreage, which would create a barrier to flood waters trying to drain out of my neighborhood. Council members, you have the opportunity to be proactive in protecting the citizens in the Blanco Garden area.
Once that asphalt goes up, it's going to push all of the water down to the residents. Saving Mr. Conway was not the first time that my dad saved someone before. He is a Vietnam vet. He's a decorated soldier. He has a Purple Heart, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. I hope that we can treat our veterans better than that, and hope that the 30 years that my dad has invested into the neighborhood and to the home and to his country will be appreciated.
What are we doing? Is this going to be a spit in the face of the hundreds of people that have participated in this plan because we can sneak it in before adoption? I hope not. Let's follow our plan. It's not consistent with our old plan, and it certainly will not be consistent with our new one. So are we serious about comprehensive planning, or is it just a joke?
You go ahead and call the roll.
Mr. Thomason.
Aye.
Mr. Bishak.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Prater.
No.
Mr. Tomites.
No.
Mayor Guerrero.
Aye.
Ms. Porterfield.
Aye. All right. Anything else at this point? Go ahead and we've already tabled items number 18. We tabled item number 19, and we've already completed item 20. Item 21 is questions with the press or public. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and accept the motion to adjourn. So moved. A motion from Mr. Thompson, second from Councilman Porterfield. We are adjourned at 11 p.m.